Hi, dear language learners. Welcome to another video on the social psychology behind language learning. And this technique I'm going to share with you today, it's called immersion without traveling. It will change your life. It changed my life once I understood what are the fundamental laws of social psychology behind immersion. That actually, I realized that in learning every new language, it made me so much quicker. My first foreign language actually took me 10 years to activate. That was English. And my actual last one I activated only took me 2 years. And this is the exact same technique that actors use to actually memorize large scripts for their movies. Because if you want to speed up memorization, you need to know what is your brain's mechanism to memorize faster. So stay with me until the end. I also share a bonus tip how you can combine your focus sessions, the one I told you about in my previous video on avoiding the biggest mistakes of language learning, how you can combine that with this immersive technique. So let's start. And also, before I forget, please make sure to get your copy of Everyday Nano. I drop the link in the description. Everyday Nano is your 7-step technique to become a fluent speaker in your new language. And this is my mission. I'm a social psychologist, so I started this channel to not only join you together, support each other, but also to share those language technique hacks with you that can make you become so much more confident and to actually activate your language that you have been studying for a while now in a much more effective way. So let's start. The first one is embodied learning. What is embodied learning? Research studies have shown that your brain will memorize faster and will actually create new connections once you bring movement into play and once you actually connect bodily movements, objects, and environmental cues with your learning. What that means for immersion in the easy way without moving abroad is you need to adapt completely your living space. I'm laughing because I'm doing that myself. So what you would, for example, a tip is what you would typically do is you actually put little post-its on objects in your living room. When next time you prepare yourself a nice drink, a nice cup of coffee, you label that object, the cup, with the name of the object in the new language. And you actually, whenever you do something in your daily task, I don't know, cleaning the flat or cleaning the house, you would then say to yourself in the new language what this is, what you're actually doing. Because as soon as you link a movement and an experience, so the embodiment of that actual vocabulary, if you link that to the new word and phrase you're learning, you have embodied learning. You will remember so much quicker because you have actually linked a movement or an object or a cue of the environment with your learning. So actually have a look at what you're doing on a daily basis and label that. A post-it note is enough, or labeling also means speaking out what you're doing at the moment. Label that in the sentence of your new language. And if you have watched my previous video on avoiding the biggest mistake, when you're labeling, avoid just saying one word, say a whole phrase. In that way as well, you will be so much quicker. So that is embodied learning. And as always, you will find in the description also the scientific research study that have shown that this is the case. This is how we memorize quicker through embodiment of meaning and action. And that leads us to the second social psychological law behind learning, memorization, and also retention of language, which is, I've already said it, meaning. You need to attach meaning to every piece of vocabulary or sentence you are learning. So, important one is social interaction. That is at the heart of anything we learn in our life. We are social creatures. So, having a study partner or somebody you talk to on a regular basis in the new language. Maybe also if you want to join one of these online groups where you discuss on a regular basis with somebody the topics that are of interest to you, that will attach meaning to the learning process. And so you need to have social interaction that creates connection and context. And you need to have that on a regular basis. And that is step number 3. Creating that kind of immersive context in your everyday life means also regularity, every day. So the routine that you're creating, watch also my previous video on creating that fun routine for yourself that suits your need. The routine needs to have daily repetition. So embodied learning on a daily basis, so these objects that you label in the new language on a daily basis, social interaction on a daily basis, so that your brain starts to attach meaning to the new language, and creating that learning rich environment in a repetitive way. And creating that learning rich environment, that is actually step number 3, which means also choosing other sources of the new language that you are passively listening to on a regular basis. For example, you can switch your favorite radio that you're listening to the new language, or a podcast that of a topic that is of interest to you in your new language. I don't know, your famous series or film on TV in your new language with subtitles in your previous language, or even with subtitles in the new language. And that in a repetitive way. This is actually how children learn, because children will not repeat grammar rules. Children will actually, in the first 2 years of their life, we actually learn by repetitively being exposed to the new language. So the repetition is important, and that it's very learning rich. And what actors do, I mentioned that this technique is used by famous actors to memorize large texts. What they would do is they would actually act out things they have memorized in social interaction. They would act it with gestures, and they would actually experience this in practicing on a daily basis. So all these steps we just mentioned actually is exactly the technique actors use by acting it out, doing repetitions, and you can do the same in the new language. So adapting your environment to embodied cognition, having social interaction at least 5 minutes every day. And if you don't have a language partner, choose one of these online tools for having a small conversation 5 minutes per day, and combining that with learning rich environments. So podcasts, films, something that you can consume passively, that is in the background, that you hear every day, and doing that repetitively every day. These 3 elements actually put you in an immersive context every day. And that is something that stimulates your brain so much. You will actually see, you're actually, by the way, also doing a huge contribution to your brain health, because your brain will be stimulated to create new connections every day through that. And now the bonus tip, that's very important. Watch my video on the fun learning routine. In this one, I explained to you, if you install a 5-minute deep focus learning session, if you combine that now with these immersive elements, that's the perfect one. Because if you have been exposed in this immersive environment to the new language the whole time, and then you question yourself on one thing that intrigues you, one thing that was not quite clear when you listen to it, and then you dedicate 5 minutes per day on that specific question, this is the ideal combination for your brain, because the passive absorption of the new cues and the language, combined with 5 minutes per day deep learning, focusing maybe on that one question, that will actually create new connections in your brain. Now, the important thing is what I want to do with this channel, create a community around language learning. So I want to encourage you, drop me a comment how you go with these tips, or what have you installed in your everyday life routine? How does your daily routine look like? Because in supporting each other and exchanging on these experiences, we can actually level each other up. That's the aim of this channel. So drop me a comment. And also let me know what your experience is with immersion from home or immersion the easy way. I'm looking forward to having, a really rich discussion about this topic. And as always, thanks for watching and see you in the next video.